Hello everyone, my name is Korrey Monroe, and here's my presentation titled, Is There Such a Thing as a Black Model Minority? So the purpose of the study was to investigate Black American perspectives on the concept of a Black model minority, more specifically probing to the view of African Americans, Afro-Carribeans, and Continental Africans on this issue, as they are the three main groups of Black people in the United States. So what exactly is a model minority? A model minority is a demographic group whose members are perceived to have high educational attainment, high income, high socioeconomic standing, high family stability, and low criminality. That is a lot to be deemed as a model minority. However, the term is referring to Asian American culture, but it was created by the white population in the United States. And it was created to denigrate Black Americans and to elevate Asian Americans, as they saw that Asian Americans were able to attain more success more quickly than Black Americans, even though Black Americans had been here longer than the Asian community in America. So challenges of the term of a model minority, problems such as discrimination and racism. This term is created to compare and contrast and to harm one group of people, one group of minorities, and to raise another. Access to resources. Not all people have the same access to resources, as this can create more opportunities for wealth and advancement in society. Mental health. Mental health plays a huge factor in everyone's lives, as in the Black community, mental health is not emphasized enough until recently, as it is now getting the attention and being spread across our communities as it should. Financial status and class. If you are not able to provide for your family yourself, you are not able to reach the same amount of success, or you will have a harder path attaining the success that the term of model minority refers to. Having the opportunities presented based on who you are as a person. Until the affirmative action clause, there were not as many opportunities presented to Black people, and even now in the current age of 2021, we are still dealing with these problems of opportunities not being presented, or not having enough opportunities presented. Your environment and sustainability. If you do not have an environment that will enable you to be successful or to support you, you will have a harder time to attain the success that the term of a model minority refers to, as poverty is one of the biggest things in Black America right now, in America as a whole. Politics and systematic oppression. As we refer to poverty and things like that, the zoning of resources and the allocation of resources through our government, through our system and our government, it will be a harder time for Black Americans to reach success, or have a harder time to reach success. So scope and limitations of our study. Data being collected in a virtual setting, as COVID-19 hindered a lot of our research. We had to switch over to a virtual setting, which is Zoom, Google Hangout, Google Meets, and also phone calls, which made it harder to have a more genuine research and interview with our participants. A small sample size, which means we had to generalize our findings to a small group, which makes them less accurate. However, we were able to attain more ideas and get an insight into the ideas of generations coming up. And observation and recall bias. People have a hard time recalling their experiences, which makes some of the stories inaccurate or some details left out. Now our data. We interviewed 10 women, 10 females, and 18 males. We had a total of 28 participants, all ranging from African American, African Caribbean, Continental Africans, and bi-ethnic groups, which are a combination of two or more. And our age range from 18 years old to 29 years old. For our findings, for African Americans, all rejected the concept of a Black model minority due to the stereotypes and prejudice that come around the term. And as you see right here in the quote, it states that we have this stigma, of negative stereotypes of being violent. So having these stereotypes makes it harder for you to attain the success or be seen as a model minority. And also that's dehumanizing, as the term was created by white America as a form of tokenism to shame African Americans while lifting others up, or vice versa. And lastly, that there are multiple paths that can create success, which means that there's not just one model. For Afro-Carribeans, all were not aware of a model minority prior to the interview, which was a common theme across all three groups. They see that African immigrants, which are Continental Africans or Afro-Carribeans, are more likely to be the model minority if possible due to the stigma around Black African Americans in the United States. And they also emphasize competition over cooperation, which means that there's a crab in a bucket mentality, which means that only one person can be up at the top, and all those at the bottom will be trying to pull them down instead of helping them out and boosting them more, which is a common thing across the Black community. And lastly, Continental Africans, 13.5% did not believe in a Black model minority, and the other 87.5% did, as they felt that Continental Africans were the true model minorities because they have this thing called the immigrant mentality, which drives them to be a powerful force. And for our discussion, the majority of participants rejected to the concept of model minority, and there are many limitations that hinder and limit what the model minority can be or who can be a model minority. And perspectives and respect for each group varies, as there is a lot of hatred and putrid towards each other. Thank you.